Broadside Books and Harper Audio present Cancel Culture Dictionary, an A to Z guide to winning the war on fun, by Jimmy Failla. This is the author. Dedication. For my wife Jenny and my son Lincoln. No man alive has a better 2 tax write-offs. Greetings. Welcome to the big book of cancel culture. The fact that you're even here is a good sign for both of us, because it means we haven't been canceled in recent weeks. After all, if I had just fouled out in the big game of life, I don't think they'd be releasing this fancy pants book with my disgraced name splashed all over it. And if you've just lost your job, I don't think you'd be out spending money on books. Unless you suffered a high-powered fall-from-grace sex scandal type of cancel, where you left town with a few $1,000,000 and a juicy story about your red-hot naughty nurse of a mistress. If that's the case, please hit me up, because I'd love to write a book about you. And no hard feelings if you've already got another author on the story, but it goes without saying that I'd still appreciate an introduction to that naughty nurse. I kid. For those of you under the age of 40, kidding was something we did just to be funny, and nobody cared how it went when I was growing up in the 1980s. It was a simpler time, when Reagan was president and fun was legal. Nobody took life seriously, which was evidenced by the fact that half our outfits contained shoulder pads. The girls had teased bangs, and the boys had this thing called masculinity. But you couldn't always tell because a lot of the most popular male rock singers had teased bangs too. Over in the comedy world, Eddie Murphy was telling all kinds of naughty jokes on SNL without any fear of blowback. Madonna was doing all kinds of filthy things and people on MTV. Hollywood didn't take offense, they took a number. And throughout all of this decadent debauchery, the only one who spent all day obsessing about their phone was E.T. Yeah, the 80s were famous for an alien who wanted to phone home, but the thing that truly sets them apart now was that kids would leave home. As in, they went outside to play with other kids, in person, unsupervised, with no app-based tracking device and 0 requirements to check in every 30 minutes. As crazy as it sounds in today's world, where we geotag our kids 24 hours a day, like they're federal criminals out on bail, I grew up in a time where our parents rarely knew where we were, and neither did we. We simply went outside, found some fun, and followed it in whatever direction the good times took us until the streetlights came on. At which point we'd hightail it home to tell everybody about the exotic things we'd discovered on our voyages. Picture Marco Polo, if he traveled by bicycle and wore a Ghostbusters t-shirt. Giving your kid that type of freedom today would qualify as child neglect in the eyes of the law, and it would certainly lead to a conviction in the court of public opinion, where we're all one bad headline away from mobilizing an online rage mob that knows nothing about you, save for the fact that they want to destroy your existence in the name of getting likes and showing the world they know better. That's cancel culture in a nutshell. A collection of people who wake up every day looking for something to get offended by so they can leverage their victimhood into your firing and their clout. The trend has become so prevalent in society that scientists have a word for people who do this. They're called losers. Let's face it, you're never going to be at a party and say to your buddies, "I can't wait until the guy who gets offended by everything shows up." And if you do want to hang out with the guy who gets offended by everything, you're out of luck because he doesn't get invited to parties. This book is a collection of people and products that were whacked by the outrage mob for a multitude of reasons big and small. It's not actually a dictionary per se. If anything, the publishers arranged it in A to Z form because after reading some of my writing samples, they weren't entirely sure I'd ever learned the alphabet to begin with. I don't know that for a fact, but I can confirm that nobody likes cancel culture. Nowhere in pop culture and not in either political party. But as you'll hear in this book, Republicans and Democrats have gone along with cancels over the years. Sometimes they rode that wave because it was helpful to their mission. Other times because they didn't want to disagree with the outrage mob and see their own careers die in a hail of tweets. This same logic is what ultimately drives executives at major corporations to give the mob what it wants by firing a celebrity. The menacing, omnipotent nature of social media storm clouds makes executives feel like it's a cancel or be canceled world. I was going to call it a dog-eat-dog world, but I'm a little sensitive to the idea of dog meat because I just ate a chicken kebab in Times Square. The point is, executives sometimes think that firing a celebrity will save their own ass. But cancels aren't confined to stars and politicians.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?